Dr. Moshe Lewis, music and medicine. When you hear those words, how do they speak to your heart?
Music and medicine?
Yes.
Well, they both coincide together.
Yes.
They are juxtaposed purposely because the power of music is healing. The power of music is therapeutic. The power of music is calming. The power of music is in line with medicine for the soul and causes the spirit to be healed of everything that it goes through. It can take away anger.
Yes.
It can take away stress. It can bring you back in time to a memory of something that was pleasant. It has such capacity to transcend all the things that we're going through. Music and medicine, and when music is seen as medicine, it is absolutely something that causes the life and the mind to be able to grow. That's the power of music and medicine.
Absolutely.
Hold on one second.
Sure.
I simply want to say
Sure.
that you asked me about this event.
Yes.
He has made this his event and has taken it personally for over 15 years. He's dedicated his voice to our event. So we call him our resident artist.
Yes.
I love it.
Thank you, Donnie. He is. He's our resident artist. And now we've recruited his son, who's our resident volunteer. So it's another leg in here's the legacy of the McClurkins and the Ephraim's.
My father came with me first. My son and my father came with me. So there were 3 generations at one time coming to this because of the Ephraim Foundation. We came in, my dad passed away. Now I and my son carry on because of what God has done through help and through the Ephraim Foundation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the importance of honoring unsung fathers. And you, like you said, as a dad yourself, have been an incredible example.
Unsung fathers, see that's some statement. Because most fathers in their true capacity are unsung.
Yes.
They are seen as a constant. They're seen as something that is for granted. But to father is a hard job.
Yeah.
It's a very hard job because we don't deal with the emotions that women deal with. We deal with facts. We deal with the covering, the security. We deal with the support, with the provision. And that makes it hard. We deal with instruction. A woman has the wisdom, the male gives the instruction. Yes. And the father oftentimes is seen as just the covering aspect, but he's not really seen as the gentle, as the caring, as the nurturing. And most men, if they're good fathers, they carry all of those characteristics and attributes. This is something that gives us a moment, just a moment on Father's Day, to honor men. All kinds of men from all walks of life, unsung in what they do, but their job is so absolutely great that it causes boys to turn into men that produce, and thus it perpetuates. The son becomes the father, and it continues on from generation to generation. That's what unsung father and this whole foundation means to me.
Absolutely. Some have said that in the Old Testament, often the people would refer to God as God, and that with the birth of Jesus, it helped us create a more personal relationship with God and consider him our Father. How does that speak to your soul? Because you communicate it so effectively in a lot of your music.
Well, it's that simple. Because through Jesus Christ, we took our rightful place again. The Bible calls it heavenly places. Through Jesus Christ, we were founded again on the foundation of being just like God. The Bible is so crazed with making sure man comes back to their rightful place. You know, it says, what is man that you're mindful of him? In Psalms 8, it says, what is man that you're mindful of? Or the son of man that you come and visit him? You've made him a little lower than the angels, but that word angels really in the Hebrew is Elohim, which is the name for God. So you really made him a little lower than yourself and crowned him with glory and honor. So that's the true juxtaposition. It's God and humankind. We are second to God only. And that's the difference. So when Jesus comes, he says, when you pray like this, say, Our Father. No longer just Jehovah, but our Father, which art in heaven. And he makes it a personal, intimate thing. Yes. No longer are we just slaves, but now we are sons and daughters. And that's the key.
Absolutely. Your music has been so inspirational, and life has its ups and downs. When you're facing those dark moments or challenges, where do you go? How does your music or the scripture sort of really help you through those?
But with me, it's different because with me being single, I've had to deal with depression. I've had to deal with loneliness. I've had to deal with struggle. I've had to deal with lack of companionship. That was different. So my music became my companion. My ministry became my companion. And when those times come of depression, which were really serious and are, because they reoccur, when depression comes on, I go back into what's comfortable, my relationship with Jesus and my music.
Yes.
And that has been the thing that has healed me and helped me over many hurdles. Helped me over a whole lot of situations that I really would not have gotten through.
Sure.
That my music and my ministry. So Jesus becomes everything that fills every void and gives me the power and the strength to go and see another day. Now at 64 years old.
You don't look at it.
I'll pay you for that later. And at 64 years old, my struggles are more severe than before, but my victories are more prominent than before.
Sure.
I've seen God do it so many times.
Sure.
And so, though the battle continues to rage, my victories continue to win.
Sure. And we're so blessed to have you
Yes.
have made it through last year. I know that was very, very
Yes.
close. Last question, promise. So many songs that you've done are a soundtrack for our lives, but one that speaks in particularly to us is The Prayer.
Chaz, where are you going?
Sure. The Prayer.
The Prayer. David Foster and Carol Barry Sayers, along with Yolanda Adams. It was that was surreal. Dave Foster, we were doing Celebration of Gospel here in California. After I finished, Dave Foster came into my dressing room. And everybody knows him as this Uber producer.
Yes.
He comes in, he knocks on the door, says, "I don't know if you know me." And my thing is, who doesn't know David Foster? And I'm freaking out because I'm fanning out over David Foster.
Sure. Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, listen, your voice is something else. I never ask any." He said, "Every bit of my career, I've never had to ask an artist to work with them. Sure. You're the first one. I want to work with you." I wrote a song along with Carol Barry Sayers called "The Prayer." He said Andre Bocelli and Celine Dion sang it, and then Josh Groban and Charlotte Church, I think, did it. Oh, he's on it. And he said, and I want to do an urban version. He said, "So who would you recommend?" My thing is Yolanda Adams.
Exactly.
My sister, / girlfriend, / wife, in my mind.
Sure.
And we went to his house in Malibu, which I'm freaking out over.
Sure.
And we sit down and we talk for hours. Yeah. And then we go into the studio. He lets me hear the song. He flies into Atlanta the next week. We record the song. And he teaches me something that no one else has ever taught me in music, how professionals record. And I missed the part, and I said, "Okay, let's just punch this in." He said, "Punch it in."
Sure.
So we don't punch in. He said, "I don't know who you've been working with, but we start from the beginning and sing all the way to them." I said, "So every time I make a mistake," he said, "just start from the beginning, like professionals do."
Sure.
And he changed my whole concept of singing.
Sure.
And that song, "The Prayer," we didn't think that it was going to have much traction because it had already been out and circulated. And it became the greatest version of that song because it crossed over from secular to gospel. And thus it had the most listenership out of all three versions of the song. So that's how that happened.
Absolutely. Well, your music has uplifted our community, our spirits. Thanks so much for this. I really do appreciate it. Sure. Thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thanks. Sure.